I love music. I mean, I really, really love it. I love listening to it, singing along to my favorites, and especially singing alone. The only problem, I have a terrible singing voice. It's so bad. I'm pretty sure God saw it fit to spare the rest of the world the headache of my perpetual singing. If He had blessed me with a good voice, I would never shut up. I would be a one woman perpetual concert. No. I haven't always had this self awareness. For a while there, I was completely delusional, convinced my voice was decent, maybe even good. This delusion led me to do something bold. I signed up for a talent show. Now, this wasn't some American Idol or Britain's Got Talent situation. This was my school's day. That's what we call the last day of the school term. It was a day of games, food, and fun. My friend Akosia confided in me that she was going to sing. And her confidence was quite contagious. So I told her, hey, I want to join you. And it was agreed we're going to sing together. The day before, being the proactive girly that I am, I mustered every ounce of courage in my tiny 13-year-old body and registered to perform. We had our song ready. Say my name, when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. If you ain't running games, say my name. You acting kinda shady and calling me baby. Why the sudden change? Our young brain had no clue what the lyrics meant, but it was a bob, and we're good to go. Now, on the big day, amidst all the excitement, I completely forgot I was even performing. I was busy enjoying everyone else's acts, the dancers, the comedians, and the other singers. And it was honestly a blast until suddenly R&A group, the MC's voice, boomed over the speakers, summoning at the stage. R&A was the name we had come up with as a group. My stomach, the whole place went silent. A pin drop kind of silence. I had never been on stage before and seeing the entire school, from primary to junior high, staring at me was absolutely terrifying. My mind went blank. To this day, I'm not even sure how I got on the stage. But after what felt like an eternity, I finally held the microphone to my mouth. An empty street, an empty house, a hole inside my heart. I'm all alone. The roofs are getting smaller. I wonder how, I wonder why, I wonder where they are. Now, how did Destiny's Child turn into Backstreet Boys? I have no idea. The whole crowd stayed silent. Like in that movie, A Quiet Place. When I finally finished, there was a brief, awkward pause before a teacher started a polite round of applause. I walked up the stage, my head bowed down in shame. Ugh, God, I had fawned. But here's the kicker. My friend, Akosia, the one who gave me courage and rallied me to join her to sign up, never stepped on the stage. She had changed her mind, or maybe she just chickened out at the last minute and didn't show up on the stage and left me there all by myself. I had to face the humiliation alone. If she had also gone up to sing, then maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. We would have shared the shame, right? Friendships can be complicated. And I'm sure we've all felt the sting of betrayal, whether big or small. In today's story, however, the betrayal we are about to explore had consequences that were far more devastating and permanent. This is the story of Anansi and the lizard. Our tale begins in a vibrant village deep in West Africa, Ghana. The chief of this village was a powerful man, but he had a peculiar dilemma. He had a beautiful daughter, and when it came time to marry her off, he didn't want to give her to just anyone. So he made a grand announcement. I will give my daughter in marriage, along with half my riches, to the man who can correctly guess her secret name. Now, this name was like her house name that the people closest to her would call her with. So you can imagine, many young men, brave and hopeful, came forward. They tried their luck, whispering names, shouting, guessing all sorts of outrageous things. But they all failed. Each one returned home empty-handed. But then came Anansi, always with an ear to the ground and a scheme brewing in his big brain. Upon hearing the chief's proclamation, a sparkle came into his eye. Ha, he thought. Have the chief's riches and a beautiful wife. This is a proper challenge for me. Anansi didn't try guessing, no. As usual, he had a plan. He went to the market and bought himself a large jar of the sweetest honey he could find. Then he crept through the forest quietly until he found the secret bathing place of the chief's daughter. He climbed high into a tree overlooking the stream where the princess and her maidens would cool themselves. Patiently, he waited. Soon enough, the chief's daughter and her entourage arrived. Anansi stealthily dropped a tiny, almost invisible speck of that sweet honey onto a piece of fruit floating nearby. A maiden, curious, picked up the fruit. She tasted its delicious sweetness, and she cried out, "Oh, this is wonderful. Come try this." In her excitement, she called out the princess's name. "Adepa, come quickly. This is so good. You must try it." Anansi, hidden in the leaves, silently stole the name away. Adepa, he had it. The victory seemed within his grasp. Soon afterwards, Anansi scurried down the tree, buzzing with excitement. He had the secret. He knew the name. But in his haste and usual desire to show off, he made a critical mistake. He decided to share his triumph with someone, and so he found his trusted friend, Lizard. Now, Lizard, usually quiet and unassuming, was also quite clever in his own way. So Anansi, bursting with pride, told Lizard everything. Lizard, my friend, I have the secret. The chief's daughter's name. Tomorrow, I need you to be my herald. Stand before the chief, blow your trumpet, and announce my entrance. Then I will come in and say the name in grand style. Lizard, with a twinkle in his eye, agreed. Oh, consider it done, Anansi. The next morning, the whole village gathered once again. The chief sat at his royal throne, his beautiful daughter by his side. Anansi stood at the entrance, puffed up with confidence. Then Lizard stepped forward. He raised his trumpet to his lips, and instead of announcing Anansi after blowing it, he shouted, "The chief's daughter's name is Adepa." The crowd held their breath, waiting for the chief's response. The chief rose up and declared, "Lizard, you have guessed correctly. My daughter and half my riches are yours." The whole place erupted in applause. Anansi stood there, absolutely stunned. The trickster had been tricked. Lizard, the quiet friend, had stolen his victory right from under his nose. Ugh. Anansi was furious. He vowed revenge. He wouldn't let Lizard get away with this. Later that day, Anansi put his cunning mind to work. This time, however, it was on a darker scheme. Okay, so he started off by catching one of his fat, juicy cocks, a rooster, and he cooked it, ate some of the meat, and then while Lizard was sleeping, Anansi quietly crept into his house and carefully placed the cock's feathers under Lizard's mat. He then smeared some of the oils and juices from cooking the meat on Lizard's hands and his mouth. Then, to top it all off, he poured boiling hot water into Lizard's mouth, down his throat. The next morning, Anansi went to the chief, wailing and crying. "Oh, chief, terrible news. Lizard, my friend, has stolen my prize cock and eaten it all." Lizard was dragged before the chief. Then he demanded, "Lizard, did you steal Anansi's cock and eat it?" Lizard, with his mouth scalded, couldn't speak. All he could do was bob his head up and down, trying desperately to convey his innocence. Trying to say, no, Anansi is lying. But the chief, seeing Lizard's, in his mind, refusal to speak, and his head constantly bobbing, misunderstood. He interpreted it as an admission of guilt. Because you cannot defend yourself, and because Anansi has provided proof, and by proof he means the feathers under the mat, and then the juices on his hand and mouth. I must take my daughter back from you and give her to Anansi. And so Anansi, the trickster, eventually got his way through an even greater yet darker trick. And to this day, if you see Lizard, you'll notice he's constantly bobbing his head up and down. It's not just a weird quirk of his. He's still trying to tell us, still trying to plead his case. It's hard to pick a side in a story like this. Both Anansi and Lizard were driven by greed and deceit. It frankly reminds me of those movies where two criminals team up for a heist, only to turn on each other once the job's complete. It's almost always inevitable that someone will get hit. My own story of betrayal wasn't about a life-altering consequence. It was just a moment of humiliation and a friendship that felt a little different afterwards. But the core feeling was the same. The shock of realizing someone you trusted wasn't looking out for you. This tale of Anansi and Lizard serves as a powerful reminder in our own lives. The people we share our plans with have the power to help us or to hurt us. So choose wisely, because even the smallest betrayal can leave a lasting mark. Just look at me over here, a decade after the incident, still going on and on about how Akosia betrayed me.